reason. He lost all of his stuff. He lost all of it. He even lost some people. He lost his children. His wife was talking crazy, and his friends was judging him. He lost it. His body was stricken with boils. He went through all of that. But what was the one thing that couldn't be taken? What was the one thing that couldn't be taken from Job, y'all? What was the one thing the Lord regarded? He says, you can't take his soul. I'm trying to make sure my soul is at peace. That my soul, Delphine LaShawn Lee, that my soul is in a right place with God. Because things can be replaced. What profits a man to gain this whole world and mess around and lose his soul? If all you have on your mind is things, and you are worried about things, take inventory of the things that you have right now. And I guarantee you over 50% of the things that you have right now, your ancestors didn't have. And if they lived without them, we can live without them too. I want you to think about that. I guarantee you over 50% of the things that we are bawling about, things that people are committing suicide about, because they can't pay for that big house, they worried about it. Because they can't pay for that Bentley and all, that they're wanting to commit suicide about it. Their ancestors ain't drove no Bentleys. Their ancestors ain't lived in no mansions. Lived in what was called shacks. But they lived. See, it's not in the abundance of things. I'm giving you my heart. It's not in the abundance of things. If things is your motive of why you are connected to God, it's going to be some trouble. You're going to face some trouble. I'm telling you. You're going to face some trouble. Job faced some trouble. God had to get him from things, valuing things, to valuing him. And when he began to value God, the Bible says, when you go to the last chapter in Job, that the Lord restored double to Job. He gave him back things in an abundance. Why? Because the things were no longer his God. He was no longer governed by those things. He was no longer worshiping those things. But he was now in a position to worship God in true authenticness. Tough tonight, I know it is. But it is the God in heaven truth. If, when you talk to God, watch your conversations with him. Self-evaluate and see where your conversations are. Is it about an abundance of things? Or is it about, God, I love you. I just honor you. Very, very seldomly do I ask God about things. Do I talk to God about things? Very seldomly, I'm being honest. My right hand extended in front of you. God knows the truth. Very seldomly do I ask him about things. Because my heart is panting after him. I just want to be with you. He says if you seek him, those things will come to you anyway. And what I've watched him do and am watching him do in my life is take care of all those things. He takes care of me. I can't get into my personal aspects of that, but he takes care of me, y'all. And that's just the truth. Because I seek him first. It's not about things. I seek him first. If you seek him first, I'm here to tell you as a living testimony. If you seek him first, it's true what he say, that all those things will be added to you. The issue with Job was Job was caught up in the things. He had a form of godliness. His doing right, his issue with evil was because of the things that God had gave him. As soon as God took those things from him, he started cursing God. I'm trying to make sure I don't do the man like that. I'm trying to make sure that I don't do the man like that. I am trying to make sure I'm working on Delphine. I'm working on her. Trying to make sure that she loves him genuinely. And she does not love him because of things. And not even because of people. Because people come and people go. Just like things come and things go. But my soul, it's got to have a resting place. It's got to have a resting place. So I'm just working on it now. So, and I'm just saying to you, can't make you do nothing. But I'm just being transparent with you to tell you, check yourself. Do some inventory. See where you are. See where you are. See where you are. One last thing. I'm still in Job chapter 3. I want to prove something to you, to show you. If you go down to verse 25, I'm going to show you how you know Job was only caught up in things. He wasn't really caught up in a place of worship with God. He did get to that place after he had to lose everything. But when he first initially started off, he wasn't caught up in God like he should have been. I wasn't either. When I first got saved in 97, I wasn't caught up in God like I was supposed to be. Really, to be honest with you, I don't think nobody is if they tell the truth about it. I don't think nobody is when they give their life to God, not caught up in him like they should be. Why? Because you still haven't learned yet how to die to yourself. You still in charge. You have to grow in this. It takes a minute to learn how to give your life to God for real. You ask him into your heart when you get saved to come into your life, in your heart or whatever, and save you. You ask him to do that, but it's a process in that taking place. It don't happen right then. It's still, when you leave from that altar or wherever it was you accepted him, you still got a lot of you that you got to walk out. It's still a lot of your ways, honey. That's why you can still be nasty and done accepted him. That's why you can still tell lies and done accepted him. That's why you can still cheat and done accepted him. That's why you can still drink and done accepted him. You can still fornicate and done accepted him. Commit adultery, whatever. That's why you can still do all of that after you done accepted him. Why? Because it's a process to work all that out of you. It's not an overnight thing. That's why have grace, have a little mercy with people. Have a little mercy with people when you see them on their journey. Don't be cussing the folk, talking trash to the folk. They pick up on. Have a little grace with them. Let me show you something. Let me show you. Have a little grace with them now. Because you going to want somebody to have it with you. Be easy on them. Verse 25. Job chapter 3, verse 25. Let me show you why I believe this proves that Job wasn't right from the beginning. He got right, but he wasn't right from the beginning. Therefore, he wasn't either. Verse 25 says this: For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me. What did you fear, Job? What did you fear? He says, for the thing that I greatly feared is come upon me. What did you fear? I tell you what he feared. He feared losing all that stuff. That's what he feared. He feared losing them people. He feared losing that stuff because that's what he was worshiping. He wasn't worshiping God. He was worshiping that stuff. He was not worshiping God. He was worshiping that stuff. And if you are worshiping that stuff and not worshiping God, it's going to tell on you. It says, look what it says, Job 3:25. For the thing which I feared, which I greatly, it uses the word greatly, it puts an adjective on it. He says, for the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me. And that which I was afraid of is come unto me. So he sat there in fear of this stuff happening. He was in fear that he was going to lose the house. He was in fear that he was going to lose the car. He was in fear that he was going to lose the children. He was in fear that he was going to lose the cattle. He was in fear that he was going to lose his position and all. He was in fear of that stuff. And so it says that's what came upon him. And what that means is whatever you are in fear of losing, that's your God. That's your God. That's what you're worshiping. And so what you do is you cause that stuff to have to go because you fear of losing it. God is the only God. He wants to be regarded as the only God. So if you are fearing losing something and has substituted, put it in the place of God, you now make God have to battle with it. Because it's in his position. He don't want it in his position. He don't want it sitting on his throne. So he's going to dethrone it. And when he dethrones it, it has to die. So then now it's like Job is saying, that I feared the most. Well, Job, if you'd have had God in his right place from the beginning, you may not would have had to lose your first family and had to get another family. You may not would have had to go through that if you'd have had God in his proper place from the very beginning. I don't believe he would have had to. He had to suffer it because what he feared, well, I'm going to keep my children right here with me. I ain't going to let my children go nowhere. This Job, and because like I told you, the Bible clearly tells you that all of them lived right there on the property together. So he was going to make sure that he kept all his children right there with him. He was going to control and dictate every bit of it because he had this great fear that if I let them get out of my sight, that something is going to happen. He had a control issue. And when whatever you want to control, that's your God. You want to control it because that's your God. That is what you worship. You need to see where it goes. You need to dictate every move that it makes and all. Why? Because that's your God. So that's what Job did. Job feared losing that. I'm going to keep my children right here with me. Can't nobody go nowhere. My family, y'all can't go nowhere. I got to be able to see everything y'all doing. What you doing? I'm going to build a house for you right here on the land. I'm going to build another house for you right here on the land. Why? Because I want to keep all of y'all right here together because I want to control everything that you're doing. Job was in fear. And it said the thing that he feared the most came upon him. And it clearly lets you know, what did he fear? What did he fear? What did he lose? What did he lose? You can trace back what he feared by what he lost. He said clearly, for the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me. It's done happened. And that which I was afraid of is come unto me. So it clearly lets you know what he feared by what he lost. So if you don't want to lose it, don't make it a God. I'm going to leave y'all on that. If you don't want to lose it, don't make it a God. Father, I thank you tonight for what you've allowed me to share. Be good to us, Lord. Be good to us. That's all I'm going to say. Be good to us. I pray that we've heard, received, and will put application to that which you have spoken. I'm out of here, y'all. I love you. Be good. Be good. I'm out of here. I got to go. You don't want to lose it? Don't fear it. All right, I think I got it now.